Welcome to this video of early American pre-colonial and colonial coinage. This is intended for educational purposes and to assist in identifying the many types of coins considered to be colonial. If you find this content interesting and useful, please leave a comment, a thumb up, and consider subscribing. This video does not include Spanish and Mexican coinage such as the real because foreign coinage was legal tender until the Coinage Act of 1857. The real silver coinage that was in circulation is not considered to be part of the American colonial coinage family because they were not minted exclusively for use in the colonies. Chapter 1. Massachusetts Silver, 1652 to 1662. In 1652, Boston minters John Hull and Robert Saunderson minted the first silver coins ever struck on American soil. The designs were simple. One side was punched with a small NE for New England, and the other side bore the denomination in Roman numerals. The shillings were to weigh 72 grains. They were not perfectly round. They were very crude and as plain as they could possibly be. 6 varieties of the New England shillings have been identified, and all of them are very scarce. After 3 months of minting New England shillings in 1652, the NE design was replaced with a willow tree design, also minted by Hull and Sanderson. The method used to create them was crude, resulting in jumbled designs and legends. However, the detail on the coins was an upgrade from the plain NE coins. When the oak tree variety replaced the willow tree, the die makers continued to improve their techniques. The overall quality of the oak tree coins is vastly better than that of the willow tree and much more complex than the NE coinage. Numerous varieties exist and all are very valuable. Any oak tree 2 pence dated 1652 is counterfeit. The Massachusetts silver pine tree shillings are more abundant than those of its predecessors. They are the most affordable and collectible of the group with numerous varieties in existence. Chapter 2. Pre-1776 States Colonies, 1652 through 1774. Cecil Calvert, the second Lord Baltimore around 1658, minted private colonial coins in England for Maryland. Calvert was heir to a large tract of land that became Maryland. He thought that his royal charter allowed him to issue coinage that was needed to stabilize the area's economy. Calvert was arrested, his equipment and most of his coins were confiscated. There are no records of any trial or court proceedings, but the coins may have been legalized by the English government with some legal issues of exporting silver to the colonies. Calvert passed away in 1675. All of the coins are very rare and the copper penny is extremely rare. Other Lord Baltimore coins include the silver 4 pence, also known as a groat, of only 30 are known to exist. The silver 6 pence and silver shilling share the same general design. The obverse has a bust of Cecil Calvert, while the reverse has a cross on an orb above a crowned Calvert shield. From 1674 to 1702, there was an East Jersey controlled by Sir George Carteret, with its capital at Perth Amboy. West Jersey was governed by Quaker trustees, including William Penn, that had its own constitution. Under Queen Anne in 1702, the two united to become New Jersey. The New Jersey St. Patrick coins were struck in England sometime prior to 1681. The association with American coinage for these is an act by West Jersey in 1682 which gave legal tender status to the coins due to a desperate need for coins in the colonies. The obverse depicts a crowned king on his knees playing a harp looking up at a crown. The reverse bears the image of St. Patrick driving serpents into the sea. The back of the halfpenny shows St. Patrick surrounded by a crowd of people. Many of the copper pieces have a brass plug to give the large crown a golden color. The brass plug does not appear on all coins. 2 sizes of St. Patrick coinage are known. The smaller sized copper pieces have been called farthings and the larger copper pieces called halfpennies. While thousands of copper St. Patrick farthings were coined, only a small number of silver coins were struck. This rare variety has a series of rays of glory known as a nimbus or a radiant halo surrounding the head of St. Patrick. Fewer than a dozen examples of these are known. There are 2 major varieties of the Virginia halfpenny. One with a period after Georgivus and the other without a period after Georgivus, each with numerous die varieties. The period variety appears to be twice as common as the no period variety. Hundreds of the period varieties are in high grades, with brown being the most common. Full red examples are very scarce. Chapter 3. Pre-1776 Private and Regional Issues, 1616 to 1776. Summer Island coins consist of the 2 pence, the 3 pence, 6 pence, and shillings. They are all made of a brassy bronze base metal then washed in silver. Few of the known examples show any trace of silvering left. Most of the known coins are corroded or pitted due to the environment in Bermuda. Daniel Tucker became the new governor of the Bermuda Company in 1616 and introduced hog money, named because of the pig on the coin obverse. All of the coins were struck on a thin brassy copper planchet. Some or all may have been silvered after striking. Many of the known specimens have been found by metal detectorists. Summer Island's 2 pence is the smallest of 4 denominations in this series. In terms of total numbers of known specimens, the 2 pence is probably the second rarest after the 3 pence. All known examples have corrosion. Most have been found by treasure hunters using metal detectors. At least 2 show planchet cracks and 1 has a small piece missing from the edge. There are only 2 varieties and both are very rare, the large star below the hog and the small star below the hog. The 3 pence is the rarest of the Summer Islands coins. Only 2 have been auctioned since 1987. In 2014, an NGC VF20 specimen sold for $205,625. The Summer Island 6 pence was minted around 1615 for use on the island of Bermuda. There are 2 types of 6 pence, large portholes and small portholes. The small portholes variety is the rarest. Summer Island shillings were minted around 1616 for use in Bermuda. Many of them have been found by metal detectorists and treasure hunters. There are 2 major varieties, small sails and large sails. On the small sails variety, the foresail is far from the beaded border, and the large sails variety, the foresail is very close to the beaded border. Almost all specimens are clipped or environmentally damaged. The 1688 America Plantations tokens are known as 1/24 reals and farthings. English tin mine owners of Cornwall and Devonshire convinced the royal authorities under James II to use tin to coin money. The Tower Mint began producing tin farthings and halfpence for British circulation from 1684 to 1692. King James II's secretary Henry Guy proposed minting tin coins for the American plantations. Within a few weeks of these being struck, James II was outed during the Glorious Revolution, which interrupted the coinage. The coins were over 97% pure tin. Around 1828, a London coin dealer obtained 2 pairs of dies, then restruck several tin coins. These restrikes have a die crack on the obverse and are very rare. With the authority from King George I, William Wood was granted the right to strike coins of the Rosa Americana design with King George I on the obverse. The coins were made of bath metal, 75% copper, 24.7% zinc, and 0.3% silver. The resulting alloy had a dark brassy color. The alloys are not always precise, resulting in some coins appearing greenish yellow and others coppery. The planchets were heated prior to being struck by dropping the die onto the planchet below. The obverse portrays a bust of King George I of Great Britain with the legend Georgievus de Gratia Rex, while the reverse features a central figure of a rose with the legend Rosa Amera Vitel Dulvici 1722, with each word and the date separated by a dot except where the colon is used. This was the lowest of the 3 denominations of William Wood's coinage and the lowest quantity of coins minted, with fewer than 12 examples known to have survived. The Rosa Americana coins may be the earliest coins to represent America and circulate in the British American colonies. The 1722 Rosa American penny with the king's name spelled Georgievus is very rare and made of at least 3 different metals: brass, bath metal, and copper. This issue has all of the U's replaced with V's on both the obverse and the reverse. The size of this 1 pence is closer to the size of a British halfpence and was probably used as such in North America. It should be remembered that although the Rosa American coinage was a private issue of William Wood's, it was given royal authority in all the British North American colonies by King George I of England. The Rosa Americana coins are the first with a design calling America by name. Wood's Hibernia coinage was a series of Irish copper coins struck between 1722 and 1724 by Ironmaster William Wood under a royal patent from King George I. The halfpennies and farthings were designed to alleviate a copper shortage in Ireland. The coins faced much public opposition due to them being underweight and of poor quality. The coinage was largely rejected in Ireland, so many of them were shipped to the American colonies. The elephant tokens were issued in 1694, probably in London, and are now known as the Carolina and the New England elephant tokens. They were struck on copper planches with unusual weights. One of these tokens weighs 236 grains, while another known is thinner and weighs only 133 grains. The New York token is a small piece, usually made of brass with few minted in lead. They were likely struck sometime between 1668 and 1673. This token is the first to have New York on any coin. Most examples are in relatively poor condition, often pitted from corrosion or on defective planchets. The 1714 Gloucester token is a small brass piece that may have been a pattern intended for a silver shilling. The date is barely legible on the back, but enough detail remains to date it positively as 1714. The Higley coppers were tokens struck by John Higley of Granby, Connecticut. The copper came from the Copper Hill mines, then part of Simsbury, Connecticut. The privately minted coins circulated from 1737 to 1739. The borders are beaded, milled, and the edges plain. In 1760, the Voci Populi coins were minted by Francis McMinn of Donaghadee in County Down, Ireland. They issued a series of tokens intending to replace the Wood's Hibernia halfpennies in circulation. Many of McMinn's tokens were backdated to the 1720s and 1730s. Although William Pitt was British, he was considered an ally of the colonies, and his efforts to have the hated Stamp Act repealed endeared him to the hearts of Americans. These coins came in two denominations, the 1766 farthing and the 1766 halfpenny. There is also an undated Pitt medal. Chapter 4. The French Colonies, 1670 to 1767. The term billion is used to describe a metal called debased silver. Although billion is already an alloy with a low percentage of silver, many of the later issues were debased even further. In extreme cases, the only silver in the coins was a thin plating applied over the surfaces. The 1710 30 deniers was a billion coin issued under King Louis XIV of France, specifically for use in the French colonies in the New World. Known as Mousquetaire coin, it was created to address the chronic coin shortages in the colonies and circulated widely from Canada to Louisiana. The 1711 15 deniers coin is a billion currency that was minted in France during the reign of King Louis XIV. It was authorized in 1709. The 1711 coins hold historical significance due to their circulation in France's North American colonies. The Dardenne is a French coin with a legal tender of 6 deniers. The term Dardenne comes from the Château des Dardennes near Toulon, France. The metal for the coins is from old marine cannons reformed from Louis XIII's fleet. Production ceased on April 30, 1712 due to coins not meeting specifications by being too underweight. The Perpignan Mint issued 1.5 million 12 deniers for the French colonies in 1717. Production stopped because the copper was of poor quality. The 1720 20 sols coin was a French silver coin issued during a major financial crisis known as the Mississippi Bubble. Intended for use in the French colonies, these coins are associated with a disastrous venture by Scottish financier John Law. The 1722 9 deniers was a copper coin produced by France for use in its North American colonies of Canada and Louisiana. Most of the approximately 534,000 minted in 1721 to 1722 were rejected by the colonies. The coins were returned to France and melted down. The 1739 half-sol marquet was a French colonial coin struck to circulate in the French colonies like Louisiana. It was part of a larger series of billion coins issued under King Louis XV to provide more coinage after the older 30 denier coins were recalled. Additionally, a new sol valued at 12 deniers was struck from 1738 to 1748. The only silver in these coins was a thin plating, so many of the circulated coins have a copper color due to the silver wearing off. To be used as currency in the French colonies, particularly in North America, the French Caribbean, St. Pierre, and Miquelon, the 1741 sol marquet was a French colonial coin minted in billion alloy during the reign of Louis XV. Its obverse features a crowned L with 3 fleur-de-lis, and the reverse has a crowned floral double L monogram with the date 1741 above it. It is widely circulated in the French-American colonies and was also known as a 24 deniers or double sol. In 1767, France issued 1.6 million copper 9 denier coins called sols for use in the French colonies in the Caribbean. Most of these were counterstamped with an oval punch with the letters RF, République de France. Many of the counterstamped pieces were sent to the American colonies where they circulated at the value of 1 cent. Because of their presence in American circulation, they are considered part of the American Colonial series despite their manufacture overseas. Chapter 5. Post-1776 States Coinage 1776 to 1788. Connecticut coppers were minted from 1785 to 1788. This coin is great for collectors because of the many varieties, die-cutting errors, and overdates included in the series. Individual die varieties number in the hundreds, many are unique or very rare, and some have been discovered or rediscovered in recent years. On the other hand, many other varieties are common and relatively inexpensive for collectors. The New Jersey copper was a series of copper coins minted between 1786 and 1788 after the New Jersey legislature authorized the coining of 3 million copper coins to help with the shortage of small denomination currency. The design featured a horse's head above a plow on the obverse and a shield on the reverse. Interestingly, this is the first coin to bear the motto E pluribus unum. Brasher gold coins included the unique half doubloon in the Smithsonian collection and the very rare gold doubloons. Brasher was a New York goldsmith who not only created his own coins but who also regulated foreign gold coins found in America. His distinctive EB punch can be found on all of his coins and those regulated by him. Brasher gold doubloons are the size of a Spanish doubloon or 8 escudos piece, weighing approximately 408 grains or 39.4 grams, and were valued around $15 face value. The obverse design shows the sun rising over mountains with a river in the background and a brasher below. The scene is surrounded by a ring of dots and the legend in Latin reading Nova Ebecora Columbia Excelsior on the obverse meaning New York and America ever upward. On the reverse is an eagle facing left, an olive branch in the right talons, and a bundle of arrows in its left talons. The eagle's head is surrounded by 13 stars, and the entire figure is enclosed by a wreath. The outer border reads E pluribus unum. One of the specimens has an oval punch mark of EB impressed on the eagle's chest. The others have the same counterstamp on the eagle's right wing. This is the identical hallmark which appears on much of Brasher's silverware and various gold coins that passed through his hands from 1766 to 1790. New York copper coins include a variety of design types. They are all so rare that some experts consider them to be pattern issues. The one shown is a 1787 halfpenny. Vermont coppers include both landscape and bust types issued from 1785 to 1788. One variety combines a Connecticut obverse with a Vermont reverse, indicating the close relationship between the designers of these coins. The first coins bore an image of the Green Mountains with the sun rising behind and a plow below. The reverse features an all-seeing eye with rays of glory similar to the design of the Nova Constellatio copper coins. One of the more interesting varieties is the 1786 baby head, on which the ribbons of the wreath are placed so low that they appear to be tying a baby's bib. The 1787 Britannia reverse was an attempt to mimic British copper coins to ensure acceptance where British coins were still in circulation even though America was already independent. There are 40 different die varieties in the Vermont coppers. Many varieties are extremely rare, so the prospects of completing a set of all die varieties are very slim. The 1778 to 1779 Rhode Island copper ship token is a British propaganda piece that was used to ridicule the weakness of the colonies' navy during the Revolutionary War. It was circulated in the Netherlands to discourage the Dutch from supporting the American cause. The tokens became useless with the outbreak of the Fourth Anglo-Dutch War in 1780. There are only 25 surviving examples worldwide, with one found in a 2008 archaeological dig of an old privy in Amsterdam. This piece features a British warship on the obverse with the text De Admiral's Flag van Admiral Howe 1779. The reverse shows an island with British warships on the left and small watercraft on the right, probably signifying the British driving the colonists off the island. When the Americans returned to retake the island, Lord Howe's men took to their ships and sailed away to fight another day. There are two major varieties, one with a wreath below the ship on the obverse, and the other variety with no wreath below the ship. In 1783, the Annapolis, Maryland silversmith John Chalmers privately issued coins following the Revolutionary War. The 1783 Chalmers coins were an attempt to create a local currency following the war, as the United States had yet to issue a national monetary system. The Chalmers coins included the shilling, 6 pence, and 3 pence. The coin featured designs of two birds fighting over a worm, hands clasped, and a wreath. All of these coins are very scarce. Chapter 6. Post-1776 Private and Regional Issues, 1778 to 1820. The Talbot, Elm, and Lee tokens were minted in England as an advertisement for a New York merchant and redeemable at the store for 1 cent. The United States Mint purchased a large quantity of the tokens, cut them down, and used them as blanks for half-cents. Many 1795 and 1797 half-cents still show some undertype from Talbot, Elm, and Lee tokens. The 1794 Talbot, Elm, and Lee cent without New York above the ship on the reverse is the rarest of all the regular issues of the Talbot tokens. The Casterland Jettons were issued by a private company promoting the settlement in New York. Castor was the French word for beaver, which was plentiful at one time but been trapped out by 1796. The bottom of the reverse features a beaver that looks like a dog. 1796 Casterland Jettons were given to board members of the company that oversaw a French colony in New York State known as Casterland. Casterland Jettons are classified as originals and restrikes. Any coins with a crack at parens are considered to be restrikes. Restrikes will have an edge mark or a word for the metal composition, argent for silver or cuivre for copper. Matchen's Mills coppers look like regal British halfpennies, but they are woefully underweight. They were created solely to cheat the unsuspecting public who thought they were getting a full-weight coin. The New York Theater token was made in England. It is included in the U.S. colonial coins because of its association to the New York Theater, a popular landmark in the city which burned down shortly after the token was issued. The New York Theater penny was issued in London around 1796 by Skidmore as part of a series of penny tokens depicting various buildings of architectural importance. The coin is more properly a part of the British Condor tokens. Approximately 20 examples are known, all bear edge lettering that reads, "We promise to pay on demand the bearer 1 penny." The Nova Constellatio coppers are perhaps the closest to official U.S. coinage, as the designs are similar to those seen on the rare 1783 Nova Constellatio silver patterns. Nova Constellatio is Latin for new constellation, referring to the addition of America among the stars in the heavens. On the 28th of June 1776, the New Hampshire colony voted that their coins were to have the weight of 5 pennyweight and 10 grains each, and the coppers shall have the following device: a pine tree with the word American Liberty on one side and a harp in figures 1776 on the other side. In 1787 and 1788, the state of Massachusetts struck copper half-cents and cents to relieve a shortage of small denomination coins in circulation. Unlike most of the private mints during the Confederation period that produced coins under contract or patent, the Massachusetts Mint was an official operation owned by the state. The committee that investigated the mint thought they could make 100% profit on their investment. However, they lost more than twice their investment, which contributed to the closing of the mint. The half-cent and 1-cent pieces produced in Massachusetts were well made on quality copper planchets. They were accepted by the public and remained in circulation for many years. Today they are collected by the type and die variety. The 1787 cent shows arrows in the eagle's left talon and are common, but the variety with the arrows in the eagle's right talon are very scarce. Nova Irborak New York copper tokens were issued in 1787. Because of punch linkage to the 1787 Brasher doubloon, it is most likely that Ephraim Brasher also issued the Nova Iborak coppers, possibly with help from John Bailey. Both men petitioned the New York legislature in 1787 to grant permission to strike copper coins. Nova Iborak coppers come in 4 major varieties: large head, reverse facing left; medium head, reverse figure facing left; small head, reverse facing left; and medium head, reverse figure facing right. Bar cents or bar tokens first appeared in the American colonies in 1785 when they joined the mix of coppers already in circulation. Their weight was too low to be valued at 1 cent, but the weight is closer to the U.S. half cents of 1795 in later years. The obverse features a USA monogram that closely resembles the monogram on pewter buttons worn on the uniforms of Continental soldiers. The reverse consists of 13 parallel bars signifying the original colonies. The simple patriotic designs makes these coins a favorite with collectors, although they are rather scarce and expensive. All genuine examples have a small thorn-like projection on the far right side of the bottom edge of the second bar from the top. Electrotypes will also show this projection, so authentication is mandatory. The Mott token was once believed to be America's first native trade token. However, controversy surrounding the pieces, such as who made them and when. The dating of the token has ranged from 1789, the date on the token, to as late as the 1830s. In 2002, research presented evidence linking the Mott tokens to other private tokens issued by Robert S. Lovett, Jr., thus placing the Mott token somewhere in the period between 1832 and 1844. The eagle on the design of the reverse of the Mott tokens is very similar to the design by John Reich that appears on U.S. gold coins beginning in 1807. The Kentucky tokens were issued in New England for sale to collectors. They can be found with various edge lettering that relates to other British tokens. All varieties of the Kentucky tokens were struck in England, and they are collected as part of the series of American colonial coins as part of the series of merchant tokens known as Condor tokens. The obverse has the text, "Unanimity is the strength of society." It surrounds a hand holding a scroll that reads, "Our cause is just." The reverse has the text, "E pluribus unum," above a 15-star pyramid in rays of glory. Each of the stars bears the initial of one of the 15 states existing at the time. The top of the star bears a K for Kentucky, the 15th state, hence the name of the token. The 1794 Franklin Press token belongs to a series of British-made pieces known as Condor tokens. Halfpenny and penny-sized tokens were made for sale to collectors and sometimes used as advertising tokens by certain merchants. Although the Franklin Press tokens were probably never circulated in America, collectors have included them as a U.S. colonial coin because of the reference to the American patriot and statesman Benjamin Franklin. The printing press on the front of this token is believed to be the same press used by Franklin while he worked in London as a journeyman printer. The press appears to be a Bleu press, the first patent press made beginning in 1620. The 1796 Middleton tokens were minted in silver and copper, but copper was the intended metal. The silver pieces were to be given to prospective settlers to his large tract of land on the Ohio River in Kentucky. However, he was arrested for enticing artificers to emigrate to the United States and was sent to prison with a 1-year sentence that lasted over 3 years. Of the 53 silver pieces struck, 46 were returned to the Soho Mint, where they were quietly distributed over the next few years. It is unknown if Middleton ever made it to Kentucky. The obverse shows a youthful Liberty, her right arm outstretched while her left arm holds a pole which supports a loose cap. The Phrygian cap on the pole has been traced back to Roman times when freed slaves wore them. Behind Liberty is a cornucopia, which is spilling forth fruit, symbolizing the abundance of the new colony in Kentucky, and a small liberty tree or branch ringed with a wreath of laurel near her feet for peace. The image of hope is on the left, presenting 2 children that represented freedom and opportunity of the new colony. The ship's anchor perhaps symbolizes the long voyage to the new land, and once arriving, being anchored to the land, as the anchor rests on the land as opposed to hanging from a ship's deck. A weeping Britannia dominates the reverse, leaning on her shield, her head lowered with her spear pointed down. The symbols of liberty, scales of justice, and the fasces and liberty cap lie in disarray at her feet, suggesting that Britain had become a land devoid of justice and liberty in those times. Northwest Company tokens were issued in 1820 for use in the Pacific Northwest. All but a few examples have holes drilled into them near the top. Most surviving examples are either worn, corroded, or both. Northwest Company tokens were made of brass or copper. Some have plain edges, while others have security edges with engrailing. Others have diagonal reading around the center of the edge. These are not true colonial coins because they were issued after the United States had been formed, but they are an important part of American numismatic history. Auctori plebis is Latin for authority of the public. This is another misdated halfpenny token that has the bust facing to the right with the reverse featuring Hispaniola above a harp with the date 1736 below. The numeral 3 appears to be misshapen and probably an 8 because its sister halfpenny with the bust facing left and no Hispaniola is clearly dated 1787. Likely minted in England, many coppers from this era were exported to the American colonies to relieve the coin shortages. The 1790 church penny, also known as the Albany church penny, was a copper token issued by the First Presbyterian Church of Albany, New York, to address a shortage of small change for parish collections. Apparently 1,000 were made and distributed to members at 12 per shilling. Their purpose is unknown, but the theories exist that they were either given up for communion or for tithe. The token has two varieties. One has the script church penny with a D and the other without the D. What the letter D stands for remains unknown. There are only a precious few of these specimens, and those that remain are well worn and are extremely scarce. The 1790 Standish Barry Baltimore 3-pence was made by silversmith and engraver Standish Barry. It is a private issue used during a time of small change scarcity in the post-colonial period. It is considered to be a historically significant piece of early American numismatics. The obverse features the figure of a man thought to be a Baltimore politician in the 1790s. The legend reads Baltimore Town, July 4, 90. The reverse features the words 3-pence within a circle with the words Standish Barry on the outside of it. The Texas Hola are crude Spanish colonial copper coins minted to address a small denomination coin shortage in what is now Texas. Both coins bear the denomination of 1/2, likely intended to be 1/2 real. They are the only Spanish coins known to have been minted within what is now the United States. The 1817 Hola was minted by Manuel Barrera under Spanish Governor Manuel Pardo, who authorized 8,000 to be minted. They were to be released in the area of San Fernando de Bejar, now San Antonio. They feature the date of 1817, the denomination of 1/2, likely a real, and the initials MB. The other side bears a single 5-pointed star. Only 6 of these are known to exist. The 1818 Hola coins were minted by Jose Antonio de la Garza for Governor Antonio Maria Martinez. They were intended to replace the 1817 coins because Governor Martinez ordered the 1817 coins recalled. The obverse features the date of 1818 with the denomination of 1/2 and the designer's initials of JAG. The reverse features a single 5-pointed star. Early versions are slightly larger than later coins, with obvious design improvements. It is unknown how many of the 1818 coins exist today, but it is known that they are slightly more plentiful than the 1817 coins. Chapter 7. Proposed National Issues, 1776 to 1787. This group of coins includes those that were intended to circulate throughout the United States and not be restricted to a particular state or region. Unfortunately, none of them achieved wide circulation because they never went beyond the pattern stage or they were issued in limited quantities. The one exception was the Fugio cent, which saw the most extensive circulation of any coin in this section. Fugio cents bear designs and mottos popularized by Ben Franklin, the sundial representing time, and the legend Mind Your Business. The reverse features 13 circles linked in a never-ending chain representing the 13 original colonies. This symbolism appeared later on the 1793 chain cents, one of the first official U.S. coins. The later New Haven restrikes have a reverse that is similar in style to the originals, but is clearly a mocked-up die from a later period. The continental dollars were intended for dollar coinage, but the most common specimens are made of pewter, a metal more commonly used on tokens and medals. However, the silver versions are extremely rare and are considered patterns by most experts. The Nova Constellatio patterns consist of several denominations that are either unique or nearly so. They are among the most historic, desirable, and valuable of all United States coins. Today, the 1,000 units is unique. The 500 units is known by 2 examples with 2 different varieties. The 100 units is known by 2 possible 3 examples, and the 5 units is unique, and no 8 units has ever been seen. Morris's selection of designs for his coinage scheme included the all-seeing eye of God surrounded by rays of glory that indicated the nation's reliance on providential guidance. The 13 stars among the rays represented the individual states of a new constellation among the nations in the heavens. The abbreviation US and the uninterrupted wreath of laurel stood for the unity and unbreakable solidarity of the states. The Latin words libertas and justitia signified liberty and justice would govern the new nation. The 1785 Immune Columbia is a precursor to the extensive Nova Constellatio copper coinage of the same year. This conclusion is based on the fact that this reverse is shared with the 1785 Nova Constellatio copper. When paired with the Immune Columbia obverse, this reverse shows an early state of the dies without the heavy rust being seen on the Nova Constellatio copper. This rare die variety is found in both copper and silver varieties. One variety has a plain edge and another with diagonally reeded edge. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was an educational experience that helped you learn more about the origins of early coinage of the United States.